Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff from that'sgoodenough.for me.com, and this is the Almost Punk Enough podcast. Today, in a little bit, we'll be having an interview with the boys from Muckspout regarding their new upcoming uh, comic book split anthology series. Uh, so like a comic book series they're launching that has musicians involved, and the very first issue will have the involvement of J Prozac of the Prozacs. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about news we've been posting, and I want to apologize. I've been fighting a little bit of a head cold off and on and off and on and off and on for about the past 2 or 3 weeks. It's not very fun. So I may seem a little more congested this morning than I did when we did the interview, but that'll be perfectly fine. I think you'll still understand me. We're going to start out really quickly. Editor Bad Dad has been really knocking it out of the park with our Roll of the Dice interview series. Recent entries in the series include The Carolyn, Bitters and Distractions, Banquets, Cheap Perfume, Sunday Morning, Katerina Nicole, Her Leather Jacket, Attack Attack, so many more. He's just basically got one almost every day of the week. They're fun, quick interviews to read, so you can check them out over at the website, that'sgoodenough.for me.com. Also, within the past week or so, we've had quite a few bands either release or announce new music, first music from them in a while. War on Women will be releasing the new album, or no, take that back. They have a new single, at least. Um, so Precious Problem is out now, and they're going to be going on tour. They are on tour now. Next date is the 19th at the Bug Jar in Rochester. Let's see, Nerdlinger, one of my favorite melodic punk bands out of Australia, have a new video for Moonshine Bootlegs. They put out a couple EPs, singles, and things over the years, but their last studio full length was back in 2018. The Happy Place album, which is really good, still has a lot of rotation on my playlist. So you can check out that video at the site. The Baron Marys, a little special place in our heart for these ones because Tifa is their bassist. She's formerly wrote for That's Good Enough for Me.com in the early years. She's also the bassist and vocalist for Teenage Bigfoot. So they've got a new song, their first since 2019, called I Would Choose You. And it sounds really cute. It's a little bit more kind of like accepting that you're just going to get what you get with that one. But the big one is Shudder to Think. They have put out their first new music since before the millennium, I think. Yeah. So they've got a new 7-inch, two-song 7-inch, just titled Shudder to Think. It's got two songs, Thirst Walk and Playback. I really like Shudder to Think. I liked them a lot back in the 90s and really, really fun, good stuff. It's good to see them back in action. It's once again out via Discord Records. So, you know, up the old school punks, I guess. What we're going to do is take a quick break for a commercial. And when we get back, I'll be bringing on the Muckspout boys. And we'll talk about that new anthology and why it is and what their hopes and dreams are for it, amongst some other things too. So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes. And we are back, and I am here now with Eric and John of Muckspout, and they're here today to talk to us about this new uh, Kickstarter project they've got going on. It's a punk rock comic anthology, but also features music, musicians, art, and stories. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
What
Great.
up,
Thanks for
Jeff?
having us on.
I'm more than happy to have you on. Some of you may recognize Eric and John from previous TGEFM stories where I actually appeared on their Muckspout podcast, but now they are coming over here to talk about this great project they've got going on. So I guess for the people who don't know, why don't you first explain what this is?
Yeah, so so we're calling it Muckspout Split. If you're a comic fan, you might remember books like Dark Horse Presents, would have like multiple stories in it. Muckspout Split is multiple, like an anthology of stories that kind of center around punk and indie ideals. Um, we have three stories in this book. The concept kind of came from like a split album. Um, like it's just an easy way for a few people to get together and put something out and fill up a book, and just like they do in music. So me and John have been talking about doing something for a while, and this is what we came up with. And then J Prozac jumped on to do some music with us, which has been amazing.
Yeah, we were pretty happy that he was able to jump in and we just assumed that, maybe he'd put a song or two out and it turned into a 5-song EP and we were just happy as could be about that. He's been great. He came up with a new theme song for the Muckspout podcast and he put a soundtrack song for each of the three main stories in the book. It's been a dream working with him.
That's actually pretty cool, especially for what is hopefully the first of many issues. Do you feel that in some ways Jay may have set the bar really high for any future
Yes,
collaborators?
Oh
yes,
yeah. Yeah.
100%. I was like, if you could do a song, that would be awesome. And then he said, I think at first he might have said he'd do a couple songs for each story or something, but that was too much for a book with, you know, 6 to 8 page stories. So, and then I was like, this guy is never going to be able to. That's too much. And then he, then it was looking like he wasn't going to have a lot of time, and all of a sudden he was like, just had like a week where he was just prolific, like just pumping out songs, and we were like, holy crap! And they're like really good, and he's been like really into it. Um, like you can if you want to use audio from it, there our video that we put on the Kickstarter has clips from those songs. Um, that's up to you.
Yeah, we definitely can toss a little bit of that in there. Uh, so this idea has come about, and this is obviously the first issue that you're running through a Kickstarter. Um, so you said there's three stories. Can you give us a bit of an idea of like, are those stories connected, somehow slightly interconnected? Um, who wrote the stories, who drew them?
Yeah, I can start with my the first one was Feral Punk is the first story in the book, and it's about it's kind of a punk rock Tarzan type thing. Like it takes place in the Bay Area that you would be familiar with. Um, it's this guy as a kid he's raised by wolves and
Yep.
and which are not actually well feral dogs, not wolves.
Feral
Wolves are
dogs.
not
Okay. Yeah.
really indigenous
Yeah.
to that area. So they're feral dogs in the area, and then also on the he grows up on the punk rock scene and with the homeless community, and kind of is a bit of an urban legend type character, like standing up for the weak and the oppressed. Um, and so that's the first story.
Okay. Okay. Got that.
And now you want to
John,
hear
you
about my story? Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure if you were going to go through. Eric did two of them, so I wasn't sure if he was just going to bang them all out at once. But mine is called the Stardust Projector, and it's about a little record shop run by two misfit punk kids, and their side gig is they've got a back room where they kind of collect musical supernatural artifacts. So they find things that are like haunted and cursed, and so they take them off the streets so they don't hurt anybody. And this time they've got something called the Stardust Projector, which from the title you'll probably guess there's a little Bowie reference in there. And
Right. Yep.
so let's just say that as per usual with these two, things get a little out of control, and there's some little imps running around biting everybody and turning into blobs, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. So it's I just wanted to have fun with it and put it in a musical setting. And going to your previous question about if things are interconnected, the three stories in the book are interconnected, but the plan is to have these characters kind of continue their stories in others like issues going forward. So we're hoping to continue this world.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And then the last story is back to Eric. Is that so? Is this
Yeah.
the order they're presented in the comic book?
Yes.
Okay.
So the third story is a blister story. It's a I think it's an eight page blister story where Blister meets J Prozac, um, and it's kind of like one of those like Scooby Doo meets Batman type things. Um, and
Okay. Yep. Yep.
and this one actually centers around one of his old songs. Those pants would look better on your sister. Is that the title, John?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the I hate your fucking emo band is the so it kind of centers on Blister and Randall from the band Scorched Birth are at a Prozac show in like I think 2003, and they run into J Prozac, and J Prozac has some strong feelings on emo. It was a lot
And
of fun.
for
It
those
was
that
fun.
don't know your story about Blister, why don't you give a little
Oh,
background about that's your flagship title. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Blister is I put out a trade paperback just after COVID um of Blister stories. It's like punk rock kids growing up in the 90s. Um and it's like a 211 page trade paperback, and then I recently did a follow-up issue of them in college, and so I'm kind of continuing their stories through this, and then the main Blister series of comics. So that's
Okay. That
Blister.
sounds really good. Um, so the art, if
Yeah,
I
I was
may.
gonna definitely want to
So
talk about the art.
yeah. Well, how about we do that in just a moment? We're going to go for a commercial break really quick and come back and talk about the art for the three stories, the cover, all that stuff. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back talking to Eric and John of Muckspout about their new punk rock anthology comic featuring J Prozac in three stories by Eric and John. But now we're going to talk a little bit about the art involved. If you visit the Kickstarter page, and the link will be provided, you'll see a sample of the art from the three different stories, as well as the cover art, and you'll see some various art styles. So let's talk a little bit about those if we could.
Yeah. So going back to the first story, Feral Punk, JT Malloy is a phenomenal punk rock comic book creator. He does his own series called Sapphire Spectre, which I believe is going on to its ninth issue soon on Kickstarter. Um, and it's this character, the spectral character that exists in Chicago. So like all of the scenes are take place like at like the Bottom Lounge and all the different Chicago venues, and it's I always thought that was pretty awesome, and his art's phenomenal. But he's done some artwork for like the Bull Weevils and stuff, like so he's pretty legit, very legit, and just a great dude out of Lyle. Um, so I hit him up when I was going to start this. My thought was that I might do each story might be a different artist, so that it's almost like coming from different people. Every time it's just maybe be a little different. Um, and JT like blew it out of the park so well that I was like, you know what, he's got to do all of it now. So
Wait, what about the other artists? They never get a chance now.
yeah, he has screwed them out of a job before AI could.
Well, he does have two initials, like the JT, right?
Yeah.
So we should get our big like no JT shirts like this. All right. Sorry, we love you, we love you. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JT's
All
good.
right.
And then John You want to talk about your
Yep.
about Jason?
Yeah, for the Stardust projector, I had worked with Jason Miller a little bit on I worked for Bad Bug Media. I'm their editor, and he had done a short for one of our anthology comics over there, and he has a great uh, horror supernatural kind of style. If you go to his all of his social media, you'll see he has a great love for everything 80s and 90s horror. It's very well themed, and he's got a couple creator-owned books, Death School and The Hell, and he's got that style that I wanted for if somebody was going to be drawing someone in my comic tearing things up with a chainsaw, it was Jason, and I got him on board, and I was very happy with all the monstery stuff that he put together. He had a lot of fun with it, and I was super happy with it.
Awesome. Awesome.
And oh, don't forget Dave on your letters. That's
Oh yeah, on
worth
letters.
mentioning.
Different type of art, but yeah, Dave Lentz he is a supreme artist with lettering, and some of his sound effects alone are just to die for. So yeah, I love working with Dave, and he's got the just perfect smarmy sense of humor that he gets me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Takes a special kind of person to get John.
Oh yes.
It's true. I'm not
And
sure how I'm feeling about these commentaries there, buddy.
no, no, no.
It's been a long month.
Oh.
I get it. I get it.
And when we get to the blister
Yeah.
comic, I'm fairly certain I know who drew that one.
So I did draw the blister book.
Yep, yep. And it's done in the unimitatable style, imitable, if you will, of the previous blister comics. You'll recognize it right away. And so when we see the photos on the Kickstarter, now I have seen the cover before. That's been pretty much well advertised along the social media. That's a very striking cover. I'm curious who you got for the art for that.
Yeah, Erwin Arosa is just phenomenal. Like I don't know, like when I think about his style, it's very like almost like along the lines of like Drew Struzan. I'll never compare anybody to Drew Struzan, but like he's got very like realistic rendering, just always very striking. He's done a book cover for me for one of my Essence books before, and actually he did one of my blister covers too. I've used him a couple times, and
Yeah,
just always kind of gets it.
I can see what you're saying with the Drew Struzan thing, and you're right. Like no one is Drew
Yeah.
Struzan, but he does have that particular style of line weight, um,
Mhm.
with outlines, but also a realism within the
Yeah.
lines, and a good grasp of light and
Yeah.
color. So I definitely can see where you're coming from, and yeah, it is a very striking and cover that really grabs the eye. So that's kind of exciting to go about with that. Um, so looking forward, we've talked a bit about the stories themselves and the previews and what's in there, including the CD that is going to have this EP by J Prozac.
Yeah.
Um, what are your I mean, besides obviously continuing this, what are your hopes and dreams about this project moving forward? Are there any artists that you would like to have participate if you haven't already reached out to them? Anything like that?
Yeah, I haven't at all yet, but I mean, I've thought about people like I did the that little mascot character for Show Off a couple years ago. Their little guy. And I know Chris wanted to do some more stuff with that. So I think that would be a really cool candidate to do like a little comic within here.
Definitely,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
and he can be pretty prolific with pumping out some music. So uh, I I've thought about him for sure. Um, and there's some people that I've loved for years in the Chicago area that would be maybe down the line somebody I might reach out to. Like Tom Daly would be somebody that would be a lot of fun
Oh
to
yeah,
do some
yeah,
stuff like.
yeah.
So there's some stuff like that. I don't know if John has some thoughts out east.
No, I mean Jay was is my main contact out here, other than Scotty Blood from Pajama Slave Dancers, and he's got his own band, The Uncomfortables. But I don't know if he's doing any, like, I don't think he's got the free time to be doing a lot of this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, there's all sorts of people that I'd love to have on the project. But yeah, that's a little ways down the line. For like you said, we definitely set the bar really high with J Prozac. He was so hands-on and so involved that it's going to be hard to beat that for sure.
And honestly, I think like I know like me and John, I think we like working together. And
We do. We do, sir. I was just kidding before, buddy.
but we want to continue forward, and we'd like to bring in other you know indie creators to do stories of their own, maybe expand it even beyond the 20, is it 28 pages, something like that. I guess it says somewhere on here.
Yeah, 28 is it 28 pages. Yeah.
28 pages, yeah. So like expanding beyond that would be a possibility. And then, but along with that, like I think it's been a lot of work, but I think Jay has really been into it, and
Yep.
yeah, I would bring him back in to do some more stuff, like if
Oh,
he
absolutely. Yeah.
was up for it. So even if we like, if the next Muckspout Split EP might be split between a couple of musicians, even or something like, which might take a little less pressure, put a little less pressure on a second musician in that way.
Right. Well, that it'd be neat to maybe get a musician to tie into one of the particular stories and just work intimately, like one on one with the creator of that story and the artist and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues that this could go down, and be quite exciting. And it definitely seems like it'd be something exciting to see. I realize, so we've had so much going on that I kind of feel like a bit of an ass, like I haven't backed it yet. But and it is on my mind to do. So fear not, I'm going to be putting money into this. But definitely, and hopefully, with these type of interviews and things like that, and coverage elsewhere, that could maybe find other musicians may become aware of it that they may not be aware yet, and start reaching
Yeah.
out to you. Other artists and illustrators and creatives would be a fun time. Um, yeah, so I guess we're kind of coming up to the end of that part. Really quick, we're going to take a quick break and come back and finish up with a couple more things with the Muckspouts, Eric and John, in just a moment. And we're back. We've been talking with Eric and John from Muckspout about their punk rock comic anthology, Muckspout Split. So, aside from the Kickstarter and Split specifically, what else has Muckspout been up to? And in a bit, we'll talk a little bit maybe about what music you've been listening to lately to top things off and finish this up. John, if you'd like to go first.
I also wanted to make sure we mentioned that there is a poem in the book too
Oh
by
yes.
one of our biggest like supporters. He's been there for I do the weekend music binge uh, programming that where I put together like stuff that came out that week, and so it's very much up your alley, obviously. And he every week would be rooting for us in the comments. And it was like, I knew if anything, I at least had an audience of one. So it was he was the perfect person to bring on. He had a wonderful poem that he contributed to the book. Uh, Eric, can you help me not butcher his name?
Dan
It's
Allmiller.
Dan Allmiller. Yeah, he's also the audience of one for TGFM if anyone.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
he's a really great part of the community. And you're right. I should have mentioned this before, but when I saw that the poem was by Dan, I was like, oh, that's super cool because he just pops up everywhere, and it's always you always get happy every time you see his
Exactly.
name
He's
pop up in
such
your
an
socials.
optimistic, positive force for good in the community, and I just am so happy to have him
He
be
is.
part of
He
this.
was from so he was from Kankakee. And he moved out to Indiana the past year, and like the day he was leaving, his last day of work at his job, like I had to go say bye and give him a big hug because like he is just such a great positive dude, and like just love having him around. So um yeah, having him there. So he posted his poem. Um, him or his wife, one of the two, posted it when he did like a open book reading, and I heard it and I was like, that is too relatable. Like I I reached out immediately and I was like, can we use that in our book? We have to. So
Yep.
Awesome.
All
Okay.
right. Now I
Well,
got us off track. Where were we?
yeah. No. So um, we're going to discuss what else you've been up to with Muckspout and some bands that you've been jiving on lately.
Let's see. In our latest weekend music binge, I just promoted the new one from the Louseketeers from New York and Teen Jesus and the Gene Teasers.
It's always a
Uh,
mouthful. It's always a mouthful.
yes, exactly. The fourth EP from 1876, Powwow Punk Rock 4, just came out a little while ago, which I was digging on. And let's see, there have been new ones from Dave House, Bass Drum of Death. Those are the ones that come to mind. Eric, anything you can think of, sir?
I've just been falling back on some older stuff lately. So I've been doing a lot of Masked Intruder and Ultimate Fake Book. Um,
Nice. Love me some Master
Y-
Intruder.
You know, I was somewhere the other day and I started thinking, I'm like, whatever happened to Masked Intruder? We haven't heard much from
It
them
has
lately.
been a while, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they got put away.
It's true.
uh,
They've been doing naughty things for years.
Yeah. So yeah, one thing I had mentioned in the intro before, which you may or may not have caught, there's over the past week or so, there's actually been quite a bit of music from bands that have not put out anything in a while.
Yeah. Like
Shudder to
sugar.
Think, yeah, Shudder to Think, yeah, Sugar, yeah. Shudder to Think put out a 7 inch just on Friday. It's their first new music in a while. War on Women have announced
oh,
Yep.
have a new song, and that's since 2019. And then a little bit near and dear to TGFM's heart, and this is a band many people may not know, but the Baron Marys out of I think Philadelphia-ish area. Tifa, who used to write for us and also is the bassist and vocalist for Teenage Bigfoot, has joined, and they recorded over the summer and are putting out new music. They're putting out the songs individually as singles, and that's their first music since before the pandemic as well. So
Oh,
in a
cool.
way, I've been checking out older bands but newer music, if you
yeah.
will.
I would. I guess I'd hate to not mention also that the Prozacs put out a 7 inch on Halloween.
Yo,
Uh,
yeah, yep. Believe our writer Jason Baygood did a review
I think
of
I did
that
see that.
release. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all good stuff. Okay, so I think that's about gonna wrap it up for us today. It's a bit of a quick interview, and we'll definitely be including all the links and anything such as that. But if you may want to make one final plea to our listeners, give us your best sales pitch on why they should help support and kickstart Muckspout Split.
I mean, I would like to think that Muckspout has always tried to build a bit of community, and I think that the goodwill is out there, but I'm not a good salesperson. So I think that if you like some badass characters and stories and some incredible music, the music that Jay has done for these songs is so I don't even know how I describe it, but it's just very, I don't know, like he has an intimate knowledge. Obviously, I guess he's read the stories and he's talked to us behind the scenes about them, but I feel like his song does more for my character than my comic. And that's not to say that my comic doesn't do well for my character,
Right.
but he just did
No,
so
but
much better. Like he's just incredible.
Mhm.
it's two great tastes that taste great together. It's music and comics together, and that's exactly what we're all about. And that's why it worked out so well. I think having music and comics together are like, if you brought me to a party and asked me to talk about anything other than music and comics, I'd have a hard time. But man, these two are in my wheelhouse, and I love putting the two of them together. It's been a dream. So.
It's the thing
That's
I've wanted to always do. I've always put music with my books. Like we put out a blister EP with the blister trade paperback, and like I've had music done for Dulce and all anything I've done. I've always had some kind of music done with it, and this was like just putting it all into one package, like that just goes together.
Well, that sounds like a good sales pitch to me. Well, thank you, Eric Cockrell and John MacLeod, for joining us today. We'll include the link once again for the Kickstarter in the summary of this. Please do go support. They just need to reach the $2,000, and you will get some great stuff and great music, and everyone will be
Appreciate
happy.
it.
Okay,
Thank you so
thanks
much.
much,
Thanks so
guys.
much.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Me
You
too.
too.